Welcome back everybody. We're on page 58 of the user guide and we'll just be continuing our investigation into the calculate expression, and we'll start with a new pivot table on the group work 9 worksheet, and the location will be cell E3. So I'm going to select cell E3 and then insert a new pivot table. So it's the existing sheet, we've got E3 and click on OK. And then from the products table into rows, we're going to drop category into the rows drop zone and total sales. There it is, total sales into the values area. That's all we need. We've been asked to use the calculate function to create the following new measures, and they're all going to be in the sales table and formatted as currency with 0 decimal places. So the first expression is sales of red products. Okay, so PowerPivot tab and measures, and it's a new measure. The information we've been given is the sales table, and the name of the measure is sales of red products. So calculate, just a C and tab, and let's think about this. What are we actually asked to do? It's the sales of red products, so it's going to be total sales. That's our expression. We're using a measure for our expression, and if you look at the tooltip underneath, just like Excel, it's telling you, it's giving you a tooltip of what it's expecting. So it's a comma. Now we can put in a space, that's totally legal, or you can leave it out, it really doesn't matter. And it's the sales of red products. Okay, so it's going to be from the products table. I always find if I say it out loud, it really helps me to absorb and understand exactly what I've been asked. So it's the products table, and it's going to be colour. So there is products colour, tab, and the colour has got to be equal to red. Now we're surrounding red in speech marks, quotation marks, because it's text, and then we have to follow up with a closing parenthesis. Can I just draw your attention to the fact that when we put in our closing parenthesis, the first parenthesis here became bold. Okay, just keep your eye on that. If I take out the closing parenthesis, it isn't bold anymore, but if I put it in, it is, and that's a good visual clue that when we click the check formula button, we're going to be okay. So currency to 0 decimal places, check formula, hey guys, looking good, and okay. Now this is looking great. So as far as the calculation is concerned, accessories are total sales, figures here, and of those total sales and accessories, only 78,000 were red products. The same for bicycles, bikes. That's the total amount sold, but of that figure only 7,646, no, so, oh heavens, no, it's 7 million, isn't it? 7,646,303 were red, and so far there's nothing sold for red clothing, but perhaps we don't have any red clothing. Okay, great. So we're on fire, guys. So the next one is sales of blue products. Let's hit the measures drop down. Again, it's in sales, and the name is sales of blue products. We're calculating again, tab, total sales. That's our expression, comma, and now it's looking for a filter. Oh heavens, right, learning opportunity. Now, can you see underneath sales there's a red squiggly line? Again, that's a visual clue to tell us, hang on a second, something's not quite right. And I wonder if you've spotted it. Top marks if you realise that it's because total sales is a measure and I have failed to include the square parenthesis surrounding that measure. So I'm going to backspace, and if I select total sales, the measure total sales, remember measures are indicated by a sigma sign, and then I'm going to tab, it gives me the square brackets surrounding that measure. Now I can put the comma in, the red squiggly line's gone, and we're good to go. So products, and it's going to be colour again. So I'll select colour, and this has got to be equal to blue. The case doesn't matter here, whether I'm upper or lower case, it's absolutely fine. Watch that opening parenthesis. If I put the closing parenthesis in, it becomes bold. Good visual clue that everything's going to plan. 0 decimal places for currency, looking good again. Okay, fabulous. I feel as if I'm on a roll here. Right, I'm going to point out that if I click on manage measures, and we have got sales of red products, that was our first one, wasn't it? Sales of red products, and the second was sales of blue. So if I edit that, now that expression is exactly the same as sales of blue products apart from the red at the end. So what I could have done, if I had a series of these calculations that are very, very similar, then I can highlight and copy. I'll cancel out of that. And if I was to click a new measure and put in the details up the top here of what I wanted, but then just copied down here. Now I've got 2 equal signs, so I don't need 2. And I would just change this to blue, and that would be totally legal, guys. That's absolutely fine. Point being that copy and paste works brilliantly in the editor. Cancel, I'll just cancel out of that. Okay, so the next calculation is sales of blue and red products. Okay, I'm happy with my challenge, and it's going to be in the sales table, and the name is sales of blue and red products. Okay, now in the objectives introduction to section 9, I listed the AND function as AND, open bracket, close bracket. We're going to use an alternative, but it's effectively the same. So sales of blue and red products. So again, we're using calculate. The expression is total sales again, and I won't make the same mistake. I shall select it from IntelliSense. There it is, total sales. Now the comma. And no difference here, it's from the products table. It's colour again, so we want blue equals blue. Now instead of putting an AND statement such as AND, what I find really easy is the ampersand. 2 ampersands together equal AND. So that's our first statement. Products colour equals blue and products colour, again IntelliSense is our friend, equals red. Close speech marks or your quotation marks, and again that closing parenthesis, the first parenthesis is bold now, so that's a good clue that we're good to go. It's going to be currency, 0 decimal places. So guys, before we click on check formula, we're asking to calculate the total sales of all the blue products and all of the red products. So we've got to be clear about what we're asking the calculate function to display in our pivot. So let's check the formula, there's no errors, and we'll click on OK. Now, are you surprised by that? Were you expecting these 2 calculations to sum together to display here? No, it won't, because in our list of products we have red and we have blue, but it looks like we don't have any products that are both red and blue or blue and red. Okay, doesn't matter which way round. So nothing is multicoloured in blue and red. So that's perfectly okay. Might be a bit of a shocker to begin with, but then when the penny drops as to what you've actually asked the calculation for, you'll probably go, oh, of course. Right, so let's click on measures, new measures, and this time it's going to be sales of blue or red products. So that's probably more descriptive of what we're actually asking. So sales of blue or red products, and it's calculate total sales. Oh, I feel as if I'm on a roll here. This is good. Comma, products, and it's the colour again. It's got to be equal to blue. And the or, now for and it was 2 ampersands, for or it's the pipe sign. Now it's different on most people's keyboards. My pipe is the shift key, and it's the key just to the right of the shift key. So I hold shift key down and press the pipe twice, and then it's going to be products again, product colour. I think you know where we're going with this, guys, don't you? And this is going to be red. And then that closing parenthesis, currency, 0 decimal places. Let's check our formula. Looks okay. And if we scoot over, now these two measures are added together to calculate this one. So just before I wrap up this video, when you use the OR operator, it can only be used on comparisons in the same column. So for example, you couldn't mix between colour and products columns. Okay guys, so the OR can only be used on data in the same column. And we're going to have a look at text wrapping our headers in the presentation section. So that's coming up a little bit later. Next we'll be looking at customer earnings, again with the calculate, and just adding to our knowledge, just building our knowledge. So I'll see you in the next video.